So today I'm going to give a mock online teaching video just in case that if we need to go online, my approach would be that we go through pre-recorded lessons. Your job is to listen to that, and then you're going to interact with the lesson either through ManageBack or through some other provided resources or platforms. So keep an eye on all the messages from ManageBack, and also I would arrange some time with you to have some small group, or individual meetings through either Line or Zoom or Google Meet. Well, personally, I prefer Google Meet because it's more user friendly. Anyways, so let's take a look at Unit 6 as our demo. Okay, so Unit 6, that will be our final unit in this semester and also in grade 8. So we'll be looking at the topic, what is proof? All right. So let's take a look at the SOI to see what we are going to do. So the SOI says finding relationships in closed systems can help us simplify and solve problems using technology or otherwise. So as you can see that I have highlighted a few keywords. All right. So let's take a look at the statement of inquiry. What keywords or phrases are familiar to you right now? Okay, so take some time to think about that, jot down some thought, and you might want to share our ManageBack later with us. All right, so for you, it might be solving problems because that's what mathematicians do at the end. Maybe it can be technology because we'll be talking about technology in Unit 5 and Unit 6. It can be relationships, okay, it can be systems, okay. So let's take a look at some other details before we delve into what we should do. All right, so the global context and explorations for this unit, we will be working on scientific and technical innovation. So this is a continuation from Unit 5. Okay, in Unit 5, we use sundial to demonstrate how math can be used for technical innovation in terms of time measurement, right? So in this unit, we'll be focusing on art. So I'll be talking about the summative assessment in a moment, but also keep in mind that the explorations would include mathematical puzzles and reasoning. So for the reasoning part, we will be working on some mathematical proofs with a focus on geometry, like what we did near the end of Unit 5. All right, but we will also be talking about some just logical, thinking in general, okay? And also we'll be looking at some fun part in math, which would be puzzles. So you can see the puzzle part echoed with the third unit, in which we talk about graph theory, if you still remember. All right, so the key concept would be relationships. Okay, so keep in mind that right now you're moving into the final part of grade 8 and also final part of middle school. Soon you'll be going into grade 9, high school. So think about when you look at key concept. Remember that we talk about key concept as transferable skills or concept across all the subject. Do you find some similarities and differences? For example, relationships. Okay, so again, I want you to really jot down your thoughts. Okay, don't just think about interpersonal relationships like, friendships or, boyfriend and girlfriends. Okay, so try to think about how subject knowledges are connected to one another. Okay, all right, and the related concept for this unit, okay, the math specific ones, we look at simplifications and systems. All right, so right now you should have some ideas about systems. Whenever we come up with a theorem, whenever we come up with a way to solve a problem, we are trying to build a system, right? When you are trying to explain how you think about something to me, you are telling me something systematically rather than jumping around. Simplifications. So while it can be, for example, we simplify radical expressions, it can be we round the non-terminating decimals to certain places. These are examples of simplifications. All right. And the ATL for this unit will be working on create original works and ideas. Use existing works and ideas in new ways. This will be highly related to our summative assessment. Okay, I'll be talking about that soon. Okay, all right. So let's switch to summative assessment or manage back first. All right, let's start from the calendar. Okay, so as you can see here, right now we're on May 17th. Soon you will have the final written exam for Unit 5. And then throughout this week, we'll be working on some reflection and then start Unit 6 officially. All right, let's look backwards to look at the deadline for this project would be June 21st. Okay, so keep in mind that you'll be very busy throughout June, so you don't want to wait until the last moment to finish everything. Okay, so when you click this event, using Pythagoras in 3 dimensions, you will see that it starts from grading criteria. So this time, you'll be graded towards criterion C, which is communication, and criterion D, which is real-life applications. It's a group project. So let's take a look at the grading criteria one by one. So we look at C1 and C2, use appropriate mathematical notation to present information in both oral and written format. I'll be talking about why there's an oral component in this project, okay? But mathematical notation here, since we're dealing with geometry, you want to visualize the project, all right? Okay, and then C3 will be talking about, or you'll be working on moving between different forms of mathematical representation. So here, different forms could be, for example, if you have visualized presentation, if you have a triangle, can you use equations to explain the triangle as well? That would be one form of moving between different representations. C4 will be looking at communicating concise and coherent mathematical lines of reasoning. Okay, so there's a typo here, so ignore the second coherent. Okay, but as you can see here that I look at reasoning. In other words, how do you explain why this project matters? C5, you need to organize your information logically. All right, so in previous report, some of you didn't really pay a lot of attention to organizing all parts in your final written reports. So sometimes I see missing part, sometimes I don't really understand the order. So keep in mind that this is a group project, so make sure that at least one person in the project can really compile all the collected data at the end and also organize that well. So don't forget that I've given you several check-in points. Check-in points would be a good moment for me to check your formatting as well. Don't be shy in asking for help. All right, so let's move on to criterion D. D1 and D2, you are expected to identify and select appropriate mathematical tools to solve real-life problems. So later I'll be talking about what tools are they and also what problems we need to solve. All right, D3, you are expected to apply mathematical strategies to reach a solution. Again, I'll be talking about what the solution can be and also what strategies they are. D4 and D5, justify the degree of accuracy and the relevance of solution to real-life situations. So here, justify, it has been a keyword throughout this year. That means that you try to find evidence to defend your thoughts. So at the moment, you should have an idea or a new mindset that, well, yes, there are standard answers in math, but the thinking processes can be different. So as long as you can defend, as long as you can show me that, okay, the process can work, it doesn't really matter, okay? All right, and also the degree of accuracy. So keep in mind, in grade 8, we focus on Algebra 1 and also geometry. So the keyword accuracy here, I'm not talking about, you need to draw like perfect triangles, but at least you need to use equations to show me that your thinking process makes sense. That's the simplest way to show the degree of accuracy at the moment. All right, okay. So let's move on to task description. So first of all, your goal is to design and create an installation artwork to demonstrate your understanding of how geometric shapes have been influencing modern aesthetics. So here, I would like you to think about modern aesthetics. If you really want to have, some old-fashioned decoration, that's fine as well. Okay, but later the examples I'll show you, you will see that they look contemporary to some degree. Okay, and another keyword would be geometric shapes. Okay, so at the moment, you think about triangles, you think about circles, you think about squares. Okay, you think about how you can use the shapes to decorate certain environments. Okay, I'll be talking about the environment very soon. And another keyword is installation artwork. Later, when we scroll down, you will see there's an article showing you what installation artwork is. So if you don't know what that is, just be patient and wait. All right, so your role, you're going to form a group of 3 or 4 people. One of you, you're going to investigate into the decoration needs at Lanyard campus and propose a decoration plan. So keep in mind that campus here, it can be your classroom, okay? It can be a subject-specific classroom like a science lab, or maybe the design classroom, or maybe the hallway, or maybe the library. Okay, so if you are aware of what installation artwork is, you will see that you want to show certain kind of interaction between the artwork and the environment. So you really want to think about what can be added to the campus, okay? And once you identified the needs of the campus, you want to propose a plan, okay? So I'll be talking about what proposal means in this project later. 1 or 2 of you, you want to design the artwork and write an artist statement. So what is an artist statement? Okay, I'm not sure if you did that in your visual arts project or design project, but here simply it means that what motivates you to design certain things, and what is your approach, what is your method, what is your solution, and how do you create that, and who the potential audience is. All right, it doesn't need to be long, but it needs to be clearly written and later recorded for your video. Okay, so again, if you're not sure if it's precise enough, you're welcome to check with me throughout all the checking points. 1 of you, or maybe 2, you want to make a 4-minute video to introduce your investigation, the design, and the artwork to the public. So I'll be talking about who the public is later. Okay, the audience. Your artworks will be exhibited at Lanyard campus for all students and teachers here. Okay, just keep in mind that if unfortunately we need to go online, then the exhibition might be delayed. Okay, but you can still work on your artworks at home, I'm sure. Okay, you're creative enough, you're flexible enough. Okay, and your videos will be published on YouTube and included into secondary school blog for sharing with any Concise stakeholders. In other words, anyone who visit the school blog. Alright, I'll be talking about how to upload to YouTube later because it can be a little bit complicated if we share one YouTube channel together. So I'll be talking about that soon, about the alternative. Alright, this situation, you want to consider the ATL, create original works and ideas, use existing works and ideas in new ways. Okay, so let's talk about here. So you can see that there are 2 different approaches. Number 1, you want to create something really original, okay? But also keep in mind that, we come into the world blank, so it's very likely that something you think is original from you, it can be, some inspiration from other parts of the world. So if you want to use some existing works and you want to give new meanings to that, that's fine for me, as long as you follow academic honesty requirements. In other words, you want to give credits, you want to use works cited pages at the end of the project. You want to brainstorm how geometry, as an old discipline, can be combined with installation art before you design. Okay, you want to show that in your proposal. And also finally, compile everything in your written report. During your investigation, think about how sustainability can play a role to extend life expectancy of your artworks. So the word sustainability can be explained differently in different subjects. But here, I want you to, not to waste the money and time to find some fancy materials. In other words, if you can go for some recycled materials, go for that. Okay, and also you want to think about how long the artworks can last at Lanyao campus. You don't want to just throw it away right after this project. Okay, all right. So the project, the products. Number 1, a report of investigation and design. So again, that's a good project. I don't want a long paper. 700 words would be enough. Okay, so keep in mind that as what we did in the past few units, you want to have clear visuals to show your design. Okay, and keep in mind that I don't want a long reflection focusing on what I learned about the process. I want it to be mathematical. That means that I want to see your understanding of geometry. Okay, we'll be talking about some softwares throughout the unit for you to really design precise geometric shapes. Okay, but just leave it here for now. You also want to have a group artwork with clear demonstration of your understanding of geometry. Okay, later I'll show you some examples. Okay, and also you want to have a 4-minute video. Okay, the reason I want it to be 4 minutes is because first of all you're going to upload, and also we're going to watch all the videos together to give peer feedback. So we don't want to have a long one, otherwise the presentation, the peer feedback process would be endless. Alright, so let's take a look at some inspirations here. The first one is from Pinterest. Alright, so let's take a moment to think about this visual here. What do you observe? What do you think? What do you wonder? You might want to take some time to jot down some thoughts, but at least for me, when I look at this art gallery, I notice multiple triangles, and the triangles potentially, this white one can be a right triangle. It looks like a equilateral triangle. All right, and this one looks like an isosceles triangle. Okay, just visually. Okay, and you see different colors as a way to create a sense of harmony here. Okay, and you see all the pillars here. Okay, but if you walked into this gallery, you might find it's kind of hard to find the focus in this room. Okay, and then when you scroll down and then take a look at the right hand side, you will see the second one. You see a square, you see a half circle, you see some ovals of the ceiling as well, but you see that the dominant colors seem to be orange and yellow here. And then this one, okay, so this one is a little bit messy, okay, at least to me. This one is more organized, as you can see that these are the rectangles and the colors are more harmonious. Maybe it's a little bit boring as well. This one for me, it looks like a cake with different layers of fillings. All right, this one might be chocolate, okay. All right, and this one, again, a little bit messy, but it's also lively. Okay, this one is this one. All right, okay, so you can scroll down to take a look at some other examples. But as you can see that for each picture, you see a dominant geometric shape. For this one, that's triangles, right? This one is very obvious, that's rectangle. Okay, the gates, okay, the overlapping gates. This one, it would be circles. This one, you have squares. Okay, so that's the first example. The second one, okay, this is an article about installation art. Okay, I will skip the words. Okay, you can take a look by yourself later. But let's take a look at some artworks. So again, you can see that this one is quite thematic. You see the dominant colors are black, white, or beige, and then gray. So it gives you a sense of simplicity. This one is a little bit messy, but as you can see that plastic seems to be the dominant component. This one, you see the tires, the circles here. Okay, this one. This one to me is very visually impressive. As you can see that, you have pharmacy at the back, and then you have these colorful containers. Okay, the focus is quite clear for me in this one. And this one is kind of surreal. As you can see that the mushrooms, they are upside down. They're hung from the ceiling, and the dominant colors are very clear, red and white. And then this one is a little bit suppressive. Okay, as you can see that the gigantic sun is hanging, okay, or projected on the wall, and the viewers here, well, they're seeing the gallery for sure, but from the picture, it looks like they're dying under the gigantic sun. So for me, this one is quite symbolic as well. All right, this one, I think it's quite fantastic. It reminds me of Starry Nights. This one. Okay, so I'll leave you to read the words, but keep in mind that installation arts need to interact with the environment, and it's better that you just have 1 to 2 components in the artworks. All right, and finally this one, another Pinterest post. All right, so as you can see that I just type in the keywords geometry, art, craft, and design, and you'll see tons of examples here. Okay. So here you've got some 3-dimensional examples. Okay, as you can see that some of them, they are more functional, like this one, it looks like a table. Some are more decorative. So you want to think about the purpose of decoration first before your design. All right, I'll let you explore by yourself. There's just too many. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at the calendar to take a look at some check-in points before you submit the final work. Okay, the first check-in point will be May 28th. If you click the event, you will see that by May 28th, you're supposed to confirm the topic and have a proposal for your installation art geometry group project. So the tips are 3. The first one is you want to use a Google Doc to share and edit the proposal with your group members and also with me. Okay, to make sure that you're on the right track. The second one is you want to explain the connection between math and installation arts in clear English and with accessible visuals. So accessible visuals can be, for example, if you want to use some Pinterest examples, you want to give credits. If you want to hand draw the design, then you want to take a clear picture and upload clearly. And also the third one, you want to set up achievable goals. Keep in mind that the deadline is June 21st. Okay, you will have tons of summatives at the time, so don't aim for something big, aim for something practical. All right, so that's the first check-in point. The second check-in point would be in June, the first Friday of June. At the moment, I'll be checking your progress in producing your artworks. So some questions to consider before you create. How does your artwork connect to services action? In other words, you want to think about how it can really decorate Lanyard campus and how people would appreciate that. Number 2, where can you showcase your artwork? Who is the audience? Okay, are we going to put it in library? So where are we going to put that? At the corner or at the center? Okay, how do you make your promotion video? 3 to 4 minutes to reach the audience. Okay, in other words, you want to think about what visuals you want to include. Okay, what special effects you want to include, but don't overuse special effects because I want to focus on the math part and the art part in it. Okay, so that's the second check-in point. The third check-in point would be June 11th. At the moment, your artwork should be 80% done, and you should start making the promotion or the introduction video. The tips are here. Is the meaning of artwork clear to the potential audience? So here you can assume that would be Lanya students and teachers. Okay. Number 2, do you have a clear artist statement at hand for your recording? Okay, you're welcome to check with me if you want to, or you can get some feedback, like informal feedback from your classmate as well. Number 3, what software will you use to edit your video? So keep in mind that if you are on Mac like me, iMovie be a good one. If you are not familiar with editing software, come talk to me. I'll show you some resources. All right, and here comes the fourth check-in point. June 18th. So at the moment, your promotion video should be 80% done, and your artwork, of course, is 100% done. And there are some questions to consider. Do you have a clear artist statement and SA statement to include in your promotion video? In other words, you want to consider, as an artist, what is the meaning of the work? As a Khoisan or Lanya student, what do you want to serve the community? Don't forget to record your video in English, and also you have clear written and verbal explanations. The videos should be 3 to 4 minutes. Think about how to give a precise description of your project. All right, and finally, how to submit the work. Okay, so on this one, the bottom one, it shows you the process, the grading criteria. And the upper one shows you how to upload. So once you click event, you will see there's a Google Drive that I created earlier. I'm using school email. Okay, so make sure that you access that with school email. Okay, I have changed the setting, so you should be able to edit. Okay, as you can see that you should be able to edit here. Okay, so let me know if you have any technical issue. Okay, and I would suggest that it should be 3 to 4 minutes. Otherwise, the video might be too big. If the video is too big and it takes a long time to upload, then I would suggest that you compress, okay, and then upload the zip files instead of the original file. Okay, so that's the process for what we're going to do for this unit. Okay, we have a brief introduction to the SOI and the summative assessment. Okay, so thank you for listening to this recorded lesson. We will have more as we are preparing and moving toward the end of the semester. Thank you.